As violent disorder continues in parts of England and Northern Ireland, a community in Rotherham is pulling together to clean up after rioters smashed their way into a hotel, throwing rocks and missiles.
Yes, on Sunday, violence erupted at the Holiday Inn Hotel. It was housing asylum seekers. Now, a local football team is trying to help restore peace among those living in the town. Our reporter John Maguire has more.
Having a chat about how they feel, about what they might have witnessed, but also what we can do as a football club to help them feel better about the situation.
In the shadow of the hotel, the focus of Sunday's attacks, now boarded up and guarded by police, the community team from Rotherham United Football Club are, in their words, going out to do what they do best: help people. There's widespread shock and disgust at what was witnessed on Sunday.
I was an ex-mine and I'm used to seeing rioting, things like that, but that was outrageous. My wife come round and when they started throwing bricks, I says, when you see police with shields up, I said, come on, away. No, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I can't believe it now, it's upsetting.
Yeah. So we work for the football club, we're just out here, just like walking round, checking people are all right.
Some say it feels like a seminal moment, that something fundamental needs to change here.
I've got personal experience from 30 years of growing up here. It's always been friendly and welcome in the area, but I feel that you need to go back to grassroots and locally and really get that community spirit back to how it's always been, because something's gone slightly wrong. And about inclusivity, I was just talking about it's inclusivity, that's where I think the grassroots issue is, really.
Much of the anger is derived from a sense that the violence was not only orchestrated, but also imported from elsewhere, and those in the hotel were being targeted and victimised.
I've seen people from the hotel every day, never seen any trouble, ever. They're very polite, they walk round. I think the residents that's in the hotel, I think they must say to them, look, just keep yourselves low profile, don't wander too far. And they don't seem to, you see them in maybe twos and threes, and they're always polite, pleasant, and you think, what's all this about?
I love how you have them cut.
Ridiculous. Rotherham United's Community Trust has done this before, during flooding and COVID, walking around and talking to locals.
Just checking that people are okay, checking if there's anything that we can do as a football club or we can do, more importantly, as part of the community for them and their families, because sadly, you know, people witness things that I'd hate for my girls to witness it. They saw it on TV and they were like, Daddy, is that Rotherham? And I had to say yes. And they asked, was it near and were they going to be affected by it? I said, no, it's not near here, but, you know, it's still in the town, and the few people that spoilt things here, you know, they won't win. The people of the town will win, and the community has been out in force today.
Those who work with asylum seekers and across various communities say the riots are having a deep effect.
I just heard from one volunteer of ours who was due to have an insulin pump appointment at the hospital to have a new pump fitted, but she didn't want to attend her appointment at the hospital because she didn't feel it was safe for her to go. Now, if she rejects that appointment, it could be 6 months to a year before she gets a rescheduled appointment. But that's how scared people are, that they are actually not taking up vital services for themselves.
Not everyone here is in favour of housing asylum seekers in this hotel, but it's the violence they witnessed here on the weekend that is completely unwelcome. John Maguire, BBC News, Rotherham.
Well, in Liverpool, a demonstration held outside England's oldest mosque attracted attention after religious leaders embraced protesters, offering them food after they'd been locked inside for several hours.
I'm pleased to say we're joined now by Adam Kelwick, who's an Imam at Abdullah Quilliam Mosque, and Dr. Abdul Hamid, who is the chairman. Morning to you both.
Morning.
Thank you for coming in. Adam, maybe take us back to Friday and talk us through that sequence of events, because you had an insight that this protest was coming.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So first of all, we saw rumours online that there was this protest planned. We didn't know how big the size of the crowd would be to protest against our mosque. There was a lot of concern and worry within the community. And so what I decided to do, speaking with the mosque, is let's approach this the way that our founding father approached it. So the mosque is the oldest in the country. It was established by Abdullah William Quilliam. And actually, over 120 years ago, there were radical rioters who came to the mosque, threw stones at the mosque, broke the windows, and his response the day after, and this is back in the Victorian times, the late 1800s, he decided to open his doors and invite people in and talk about things. So we decided to do the same.
Which was potentially a brave decision because, Abdul, you must have been, you knew about the rumours online. You were getting to be aware that people were building up outside. At that point, what was the feeling inside the mosque? You know, how concerned were you about what potentially could happen?
We were prepared for the worst, I think. We were thinking this could turn out very nasty and a repeat of Southport. Doing what we did outside was, I think, a brave thing, because just to, you know, sit outside the mosque with supporters, you had that sense of anxiety that if things went pear-shaped, then you'd have to retreat back into the mosque, batten down the hatches, and play it safe, really.
We're just looking at the pictures now. These are from Friday. So you went outside. You offered food, and you spoke to some of these protesters.
Yeah, our kitchen staff were amazing. We made preparations in advance to get 200 burgers ready, lots of chips for everybody. When we deemed that the situation was calm enough and there wasn't any risk of violence, which is very important, things have to be safe and secure before you can have that dialogue.
And the police talked to you about that?
Yeah, we liaised with the police. Actually, we were told by the police several times before, we don't think it's the right time. Right. So we waited for the right time. Actually, we waited 3 hours. Events started at 7. We waited until after 10. We saw that things were calm, and then we took the bag of food, we walked across the road, we smiled at people. Before you knew it, we were sharing food with them. We were talking with them. More importantly, we were listening to them, because a lot of people had a lot of things that they just wanted to get off of their chests. Yeah. And by the end of it, we were hugging, we were shaking hands, we were exchanging details, and they were saying that they would love to take us up on the offer of coming into the mosque at another time where we can open our doors and start to speak to each other. So it was overwhelmingly positive.
And Abdul, what were they asking? What did they want to know? What were they unsure of?
I think the fear of the unknown, really. They didn't know what mosques represented, especially Abdullah Quilliam Mosque was an iconic building. I think a lot of the people who came to protest against the mosque didn't know exactly what they were doing. They were protesting along with lots of other people, watching TikTok and social media, having read some information, misinformation, whatever you want to call it. But they had questions they wanted to ask. I think one of them asked about, we were angry at the police, so we turned up. And so that, lots of people have issues. And I think if we had gone in opposing them, that would have created more tension and anxiety. And this is where this gesture was an amazing thing to do.
So this was on Friday. You will have seen the protests escalate across the UK, across particularly England and Northern Ireland over the last couple of days. What do we learn from your experience going forward? Because there are a lot of people really worried in communities, tensions between communities. What can you share in terms of maybe just giving people a little bit of hope that actually things aren't as bad as they might appear?
There are lots of lessons to take. I've just arrived back from Scotland. I was invited to a mosque in Glasgow to speak to actually the Muslim youth there. These young Muslim men with lots of testosterone running through their veins, and they're hearing mixed messages as well, because people are telling them, no, we have to go out on the streets and we have to defend ourselves. And so I just explained to them the concept of a tough guy or a strong man from the Islamic tradition. And we're taught that the truly strong person is the one who's able to subdue their anger even when it's justified. And so we talked about things like that. We talked about the Quranic message, which says, and when you're addressed by ignorant people, respond with the greeting of peace. And you know, so the work is continuing. When I leave here now, I've actually received an invitation from one of the leaders of the protest movement in Liverpool, who reached out to me after this event. He contacted me online. He said, a few people have said I should speak to you. You seem like a reasonable person. Would you like to go for a coffee? And so I'm building bridges now with one of the main people who were involved in the protest on the Saturday, not the ones on Friday, on the Saturday. And so that's what it's about. It's about listening to each other, coming together. And I guarantee you, when we have this dialogue, which, by the way, we've been doing for many years, we've been dealing with members of far-right organisations, the EDL, Football Lads Alliance, and all these members before, and we always have these beautiful interactions when we realise that we're all humans, and all of the problems, all of the societal problems which people are complaining about, when I explain to them that actually we are suffering from those as well. It's not exclusive. Whatever complaint you have, me and my family, as well as you and your family, are suffering for it. And then I invite them, if you're serious about changing things, then we have a team of volunteers in our mosque. Let's change it together. Bring your people, we'll bring our people, and we'll work together to solve these issues.
Adam, Abdul, thank you so much for coming in. Really nice to talk to you this morning. And those images, those photos really are striking, aren't they, given everything that we've seen over recent days. So thank you. Good to talk to you. Thanks.